and welcome back to my channel. Unless you're new here, and then just welcome. My name is Rusty, and this is my channel where I talk about my favorite movies, mostly horror, and we're going to top off this little quadruple mini zombie fest with the remake of Rabid. Movie was so gross. Rabid. There's our little Rose. Typhoid Mary. So this movie was released in 2019. It was directed by Jen and Sylvia Soska. And it was written by Serge and Jen and Sylvia Soska. And it stars Laura Vandervoort, Benjamin Hollingsworth, and Ted Atherton. This is, of course, a remake of Cronenberg's Rabid with porn star Marilyn Chambers back in the day. Which, I mean, it's alright too, but I actually like this one a lot better than the original. But, not that it's not good, it's alright, but this is really cool. So, we have Rose, who is our quiet little fashion designer, or that's what she wants to be. She's studying. She's an assistant to a fashion designer, and that's what she wants to be. She's kind of shyish, and it took me a little bit to notice it, that she had like these, they weren't really very noticeable, but she had this like scar on her cheek and on her forehead, and I knew she looked like, I was like, well, that's not, I just saw a picture of the actress who plays her, and I'm like, why does her face look weird? And I'm like, oh, it's probably because she's supposed to get really beautiful after the treatment, so they had to make her a little uglier. But then I heard the rest of the story, and I kind of understood. So, we have Rose. She wants to be this fashion designer. She's kind of quiet and shy, which you find out the reason is because when she was a kid, like younger, her whole family was killed in a car wreck, and she survived it. So she has no family. And that's why she acts the way that she does. Kind of very, very shy and quiet and stuff like that, wanting to be this fashion designer. And they go to a party that night, and her coworker, Brad, had come up and asked for a date, which kind of freaked her out. But she accepted, and they went to this place. Now, she's really good friends with Chelsea, and Chelsea's a really good person. So they go, and while she's there, though, she finds out in the bathroom, it was horrible. A couple of her other coworkers come in, and she heard them talking about how they couldn't believe Brad had asked her there, and that she was like all scarred up, and why did Chelsea get him to do that? A charity case. And I was like, oh, that's terrible. So she does end up like leaving the party, and she confronts Chelsea about it. Like, I don't need your charity, asking him to, take me out on a date. And she kind of storms off mad, which is a big mistake because she jumps on her motorbike and she takes off and gets hit by a car like once wasn't enough. Are you just really determined to die by auto? So she gets horribly bashed by this car. And she survives, and they show her in the hospital. And I tell you, I'm telling you, the shit that happens to her face, that is just too much. I mean, that was really good makeup, and it was really hard to look at. I mean, you like wanted to, I did, like look away several times. I'm like, oh, okay, I see it. I don't need to see it no more. yeah, okay, yeah, it's as bad as I thought. I'm not going to look at that. I mean, I needed to look at it for a second to like get the shock factor, but now I'm done. You can keep it. So, it was really, really bad. the way her face looked after that wreck. So she's really upset. How is she going to live? And she, Chelsea was really nice. Like I said, she's a really nice character. She moves her into her place to take care of her because she kind of feels guilty, about the Brad thing. So she moves her in there to take care of her. Like I said, she's an exceptionally good character, and they are kind of told by the doctor that treated her about this place called the Burroughs. Yeah, the Burroughs Clinic. And she sees a little bit of their press kit about it. And it's a place that believes in transhumanism and is working to, make humans better. And they have treatments that they think can help her. So Chelsea gets her to go. And she goes and she listens to their spiel and actually decides that she will do that. So, something is really weird, though, when they do the treatment, and put the skin grafts on her and stuff. That it's really weird right then and there. Because what the fuck are you... The doctor and his staff were dressed in these red robes and stuff. It was very, very cult-like. And I'm like, okay, there's some shit going on here. And they put these grafts on her. And I tell you, when she came to and she took that thing off, she was not only was she fixed, but she was the scars were gone too. So it fixed her all up because it pulled some of her guts out too. The wreck had made her lose a bunch of her intestines. So, but she was totally beautiful now, just radiantly beautiful. And Chelsea didn't even recognize her when she came to pick her up. And the doctor told her, there might be some side effects, but always take these pills and always drink this protein shake. And I'm like, yeah, that's fucking blood. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, first of all, did you know there's, okay, oh well, no, I'll go down this side road. Did you know that there is actually a real company called Soylent? I mean, the first time that I saw that, and it was they have protein shakes, and if you don't believe me, just go look them up. There is a real company that does protein shakes and cakes, called Soylent, and I'm like, I know that you're not processing dead bodies, but you have got to know what you were doing when you named this company that makes wafers and cakes and protein shakes, and you named it Soylent, and you're like, try our new Soylent Blue and stuff like that. This is real, folks. Go look it up. It's hilarious. And I'm like, I don't care that I know it can't possibly be humans, but I will not drink a Soylent drink because I know it's people. At first I thought it was a joke, but it's not. It's real. You can actually order them, Order your supply of Soylent Brown. And I'm like, no thank you. I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it because the joke would be on me. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I thought about when he was giving her the protein shakes and all. I'm like, that shit's blood, okay? You fucked her up. I don't know what you did, but you fucked this girl up. So she's all radiant. She's all beautiful. Her whole personality is better. Her body is better. Her beauty is better. It just turned her into this pristine version of herself. So she gets out and they send her home. And immediately, actually before she even went home, when she woke up that night and saw her beauty and all of that, she actually has these growling stomach things. And she's got this insatiable hunger. she goes down to the pool, and she thinks she's dreaming. And she goes down to the pool, and there's a guy from a soap opera, Dominic. He's there getting some kind of treatment, health treatment. And she, like, just jumps him and is, like, kissing him in the pool, and she bites his lip. And she's like, oh, my God, I'm so sorry. What was I doing? And she left. And she told the doctor about it, but the doctor told her it was a dream. And I was like, was it? I don't think it was. But okay, I'm not sure. Later on, you know for sure she's not dreaming this shit. So she leaves, and Brad comes around, and he apologizes that she kind of rejects him. But you see Brad, who had came to see her at the clinic, you saw him talking to that doctor, right? And I was like, what's up with that? You know, because they didn't show you. You just, like, didn't see Brad no more. So, until he came to the apartment, and she, like, rejected him, and she goes out and parties and stuff like that. But she's having these really terrible night terrors, you know, and you don't really know for a little bit whether she's dreaming. Some of them are obviously dreams, but then you see her, like, doing stuff, walking down the street and attacking people, and you don't know which ones are dreams and which ones are real. And then you see that the Dominic one was real because they show him on the soap opera set, because that's what he is, a soap opera actor. So he's, like, acting all weird and stuff. He attacks one of his coworkers and rips, you know, like, eats part of his face off and stuff like that. So she's, like, spreading some kind of rabid zombie virus, right? And that was pretty gross. Then the guy, of course, that he had bit, he turned into one, and you saw him at the hospital. And he, like, ravishes this nurse who turns to one. And so it's just spreading, like, really quick, you know, this thing. They even call in the CDC. She goes out hunting one night after she eats a bunch of raw meat and calls the doctor, and it's like, why and what am I doing? You know, what's going on? And she attacks this asshole who's acting like he actually deserved it, to be honest with you. But she attacks him. He starts spreading it. Brad gets her to go out with him to eat lunch. That very dude, Billy, he jumps through the window and attacks him, and Billy, like, kills him and stuff. And it is just, like, spreading, and she is getting worse and worse. And it's some really cool scenes. The CDC comes in and tries to start containing it, but I'm telling you that it spreads exponentially, like, really fast, until all of a sudden there's, like, a whole fucking pandemic. Can you say that word anymore on YouTube? I don't know. But epidemic of rabies, or that turns you into a zombie. Because, I mean, people say, well, it's just rabies. You know, they're just rabid. No. They were rabid zombies is what they were. You know, there's a lot more than just rabies. Let's put it that way. So the CDC comes. They end up actually, like, having to tell the public because it just goes apeshit. She starts getting worse, and she notices that there's, like, this fangs underneath her tongue, and, like, poison gland or something, and that thing that comes out, looks like from Hellraiser, you know, that thing that comes out from her armpit, and it's like a tube, like a sea snake or something that she uses to bite people. That was fucked up. Now, during all this time, that doctor at the clinic, he ends up calling her and is like, you need to come back in. I've looked at your blood work. And you think he's being helpful, but he's actually not. So that's the night, though, because, you know, that she has become, like, a fashion designer. That guy even brought her in to do his show, you know, to his line for that year. So she's really happy, and they're having the fashion show that night. the night that the rabies declaration for a national for an emergency happened, city emergency. But they're having that. Chelsea got bit, which I thought was sad. On the way, she shows up to put her dress on and stuff because she's going to close the show. So she had gotten bit, and she shows up to get dressed. You're like, oh, that's fucked up. She was a nice character. And everybody goes apeshit in the show. There's like chaos with all these Rabid. And Chelsea like loses it. One of the other people have it too. Then all of a sudden you see like snipers. So it's like, I think the doctor had called. She had, and Rose had attacked two guys out in the alley. And then Brad had gotten her away from them and killed one of them. And she had killed the other one and took her back inside, but she refused to leave. His job was to get it. And I was like, I knew he was working with that doctor, right? So after all of this occurs and she watches Chelsea get shot on stage, they take her, he gets her to go back to the clinic with him, where that doctor is such a freak. He locks them in the exam room, plexiglass and stuff, and they both start kind of freaking out. And I felt really sorry for her because she didn't do anything to deserve this. None of them did, really. It's just this crazy doctor, yeah? So he ends up like pouring blood all over Brad. And it's like, I'm going to watch her eat you. He's like, feed, feed. And then you see this some kind of like creature that looked like From Beyond. Because a lot of the stuff in this movie looked like from that. Like body horror, like From Beyond and stuff like that. And Reanimator and stuff. So she refuses, though, and even that little thing comes out of her pit, like bites him and kills him. But she cuts it off, and you see this creature behind them, and that was his first creation, that's his wife, right? She goes up there and she like kills this creature, and he screams and everything, and then she cuts her own throat right in front of him. And so Brad's dead, you think she's dead, and then, of course, that guy's first monstrous creation, his wife is dead. And you then hear the news that the rabid zombie thing has been gotten under control, and all of the quarantine patients have been euthanized, because let me tell you, there wasn't nothing else you could do for them. And so everything was fine now. And you could go back to living normally and not being scared of your neighbor, that it was all under control. And then you see him. And he's like cooking up this meaty goo paste and stuff. And he goes back into the exam room. And poor Rose is still there. And he sets the food in front of her. And it's this meat and blood and stuff. And he's like, that didn't work, immortality, because that's what he was doing. Because he kind of told it all to him and her and Brad, that we had to move beyond human. We had to become this chimera to become immortal. Because that was, I guess he went crazy because his wife died of cancer, and so he was going to beat death, and he was going to do that by evolving humans into something else. So he knew she was a chimera from the very beginning, right? And now she's stuck that way. Because she cut her own throat, like damn near cut her own head off. And it didn't kill her. And that's what he told her. He was like, that's the drawback for immortality. It has some things you got to get used to. And that was that he's like her prisoner now. And he's in there trying to feed her meat. And she's immortal. She has to be, right? Because she nearly cut her own head off and didn't die. Instead, it healed right back up. She looked totally normal. And the movie ends with him feeding her this meat. And you're like, this was 2019. There should have been a sequel by now, because they certainly left it open for one. You know what I'm saying? And this is a really good movie. I really liked it. I gave it a 7.9 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. There was some really gross stuff in it. And like I said, I do like it a little better than the original. The original is okay, but it's not like as good as this in my opinion. It's more like 6.9 out of 10, whereas this is like a 7.9 out of 10. I really enjoyed this one a lot. I like the characters. I like the acting. The gore was exquisite and gross. I don't think I'll ever get over that thing with her mouth. That was awful. I would have took the chance and had this graft too. I'd have got myself in trouble. He'd have turned me into a chimera because I wouldn't live looking like that. You know what I'm saying? Because that was awful. So yeah, that was Rabid, wrapping up this little alt zombie selections, and I really, really, really enjoyed this movie. It was really good. Have you seen it? Let me know what you think about it in the comments. I appreciate you stopping by and listening. And yeah, I'm going to do some masterpiece spotlights, non-horror masterpieces, which I like to do every once in a while to show that I don't just watch horror. And yeah, I will see you in the next thing that I do. I love this movie. Always remember, never forget, you're a very special person, even if you have not got rabies. You're still very special. Not as special as her, though, because now she's some kind of immortal chimera that needs to eat people. Flesh. Well, no, he wasn't feeding her that, though. He was just feeding her regular meat, so. But I imagine that she's going to consider people meat. That's what I'm saying. There really needs to be a sequel to this movie to see, because she wasn't having it. She wasn't helping him. She cut her own little tentacle off. She wasn't going to participate in her own whatever plans he has. She was refusing to participate in it. So she's now sort of like a zoo specimen. No telling what else he's going to try to do. Probably using her, like maybe her blood or flesh, to try to turn someone else into one. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. There needs to be a sequel. I demand a sequel because I want to know what fucking happens, yeah? I know some of you indie horror people out there got a little bit of money. You can make a sequel. Very good acting. Like this movie. Good gore. It was good. And I will see you in the next thing I do. Love you, miss you. Bye-bye. We'll move on to something else until I do another little zombie fest. And I made it through recording these. It's storming like fuck here. And I made it through recording these. The power did not go out. It's raining like really hard. I'll see you. Bye-bye.